Attention, stations on the network. Our broadcast will begin in 1 minute from my mark. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. That was your 1 minute time check, stations.
Looks like Belmont's got it in the bag.
We are Southern Illinois.
Their corner three from the SIU bench. Yes, sir. That's his own board to him. Between three black jerseys, goes up and lays it in. Confetti pops into the dog pound.
This is Saluki Basketball on the Saluki Sports Network from Learfield.
Horn sounds. Ball game is over.
This is the IBEW NECA pregame show, brought to you by IBEW NECA, your power professionals. Also brought to you by Banterra Bank. Apply for your Banterra Saluki Visa debit card today. Stop by Banterra to learn more. Member FDIC.
Southern makes it 24 in a row in Banterra Center in non-conference action, and you can feel the magic in Banterra again.
Now let's go courtside.
Today in the Music City almost marks 1 year ago from when the Salukis started to see a turn for the better in what was a disappointing start to Valley play last year, which saw them go 0-5 with the fifth loss coming to Nashville to the team they face today, the Belmont Bruins. Even with only one MVC win to this point, you can sense that this is a much different Saluki team. SIU coming off that first win on New Year's Day against Valpo, and now they're trying to make a major statement on the road against one of the nation's hottest teams in the Belmont Bruins. Belmont has only lost 2 games this season, but like the Salukis, each of the Bruins' MVC battles have come down to the final minutes. They feature college basketball's Steph Curry and Tyler Lundblade in a Saluki defense that has made strides this year, but will no doubt be up against one of its tallest tasks to date. It's the Belmont Bruins hosting your Southern Illinois Salukis just off Broadway in the Music City. It's time for Saluki Basketball with Paxton Guy back in our network studios alongside the Hall of Famer Ronnie Watson. I am Luke Martin here courtside in the Curb Event Center where the Belmont women are about to wrap up a win this afternoon against Illinois State. Walked in here and, man, it was a packed crowd. Saw red everywhere. There's a national title game in football tomorrow. The Redbird faithful have no doubt come down and support their women's team here today. And, of course, football playing for the national title tomorrow. But that's not what's important. What's important is about the game that's going to tip off in an hour between SIU and Belmont. And Coach Watson, we described it really in detail going back to our podcast earlier in the week. It was a great win for Southern on New Year's Day. They took advantage of a great crowd. Now, you go back where you've been a lot this year. This team has found a way to be really comfortable on the road.
Sounds kind of weird for me to say this, but I think Southern feels comfortable on the road. And I don't mean they would not rather play at home in front of their faithful, but it's not a situation where they go, oh, man, here we go, back on the road. These guys seem to be fine with it, and they're going to have to be fine with it. I think this game's going to be very similar to the Richmond game. I think Belmont plays like Richmond. I think they're skilled like Richmond. Richmond had good big guys, and Southern kind of neutralized them. I think Belmont's big guys are better than what Richmond was, but the guards on both teams are really good, and their offense is really efficient. Southern did a terrific job taking away back cuts, which you have to do on Belmont. You get so locked in on the three-point shooting. Once you try to get up and kind of get out of position on defense, then Belmont will just kill you at the rim.
Hey, we avoided the triple, quadruple overtime women's game before the men's game. It's like that conference tournament time as SIU taking on Belmont here today. But as you said, Richmond, of course, they beat Belmont. That's one of their only 2 losses this year. I was kind of disappointed we really didn't dive into the history of her. And we talked about, of course, Coach Bird and his impact here. I mean, this is a program in Belmont that's won 20 games or more every season since 2010. I mean, you talk about a stretch of stacking 20 wins or more. That's impressive now. They are used to winning here in Nashville. And, of course, Casey Alexander, he's nipping at the bit to try to get this program back to the NCAA tournament, which they haven't done since Coach Bird's last season.
I think we see Coach Bird on the other side of the floor right now. I think that's him over there.
Yeah, that's not a good sign.
Yeah, well, it'd be worse if he was on this side of the floor. And Casey Alexander's plenty good enough. They have done a great job. It's still baffling to me that they can't fill this place with regularity. You say, oh, there's just so much to do in Nashville. Forget that. Everyone likes winners, and they certainly have one here, and they've done a terrific job. What gets me is they just keep bringing in terrific, big-time talent. They've got another NBA prospect in Tyler Lundblade, but, Sornowski and Rogers and all the rest of them, they have good players.
Let's go ahead and get to our first Southern Bank first impressions of the Belmont Bruins. First Southern Bank, local people, local decisions, community banking at its best. Let's start with Tyler Lundblade, Coach Watson. I mean, you look at last year, made 104 threes. He led the country in three-point shooting percentage a year ago. This year, he's already made 61 threes on the year. He's got 4 games scoring over 20. In Valley play, he's 22 of 41 from the outside arc. And we'll hear from Coach Nagy later on in the pregame show. He's coached a long time, and he says he's not seen a guy the caliber of Tyler Lundblade, and to me that speaks high volumes.
And that is that when I heard that was eye-opening. Lundblade is long. He has long arms. He has a long release point, so that means he has the ability when he's challenged to maybe change his release point a little bit up high above a contested shot. But what he does best, and something I've said to you in the times we've known each other, college players have to separate from their defense, from their defender. He knows how to separate. He cuts really hard coming off screens to separate from his man or the next guy up to be able to get open shots from 3. He does a great job of changing directions to get 3. You try to take that. If you take the 3 away, that means you're going to give up something. That means he will beat you on the back cut. But what's really impressive is how they play together in their system. Sometimes you can fake out the passer, so you can fake him out. They have a system somehow. They know when those guys, either on a read and react type situation, they will get you cutting on the backside to the basket.
And we're going to see Sam Orm today. He's warming up right now. Drew Charnowski and Brigham Rogers. You talk about those 3 big. Sam Orm, talk about the caliber. He has not played. He didn't play last year against SIU. His last game was against UC Irvine, which he had a double-double, 12 points, 12 rebounds that day. He's from Carmel, Indiana, was an outstanding high school product in the state of Indiana, and just trying to find that consistency in terms of being available.
The Carmel, Indiana thing is what has me shaking my head. He passed a lot of colleges from Carmel, Indiana to the south side of Nashville to go to college, and credit again to the recruiting of Belmont. But Orm's a guy that can score in several different levels. I mean, he certainly hit threes. He will stretch you. That's what Coach was talking about. He's the guy that can really stretch you when you get locked in on Charnowski and Rogers inside. So Southern's got their work cut out. This is going to be a 5-man defensive effort for them to hang in there.
That's also one guy we did not highlight a ton in our podcast was Jabez Jenkins. He's a redshirt freshman. It's his second year here in the program. He's coming off his best performance of the season. He had 18 points, 7 rebounds in the win against Bradley. That is a young guard. You can tell. You talk about really talented guards, man. They just produce them at a really high level, and he's a guy that, man, you can watch him. You can see maybe it start to flip for that young man.
Yeah, you bring up him, Dillon, and Miller. Those 3 guys are the names that we can't be talking about during this game because The first guys we've talked about are going to be a load, and then we throw in Nick McClain, their point guard.
He's
who's
hurt.
Oh, my, that's a big factor in this game. So we'll see who handles the ball. But Jenkins is a guy that you took it right away from me from the standpoint. If we're saying his name, there's a lot more problems than we've talked about.
Yeah, McClain, I believe it was towards, I can't remember which game it was, but I think it was the Bradley game when I was rewatching it, was going through, and I'm pretty positive that's him off to our right, but we don't want to overstate anything. But, yes, I mean, obviously outstanding talent. But here's what kind of surprised me, and we talk about this all the time, and this is not to be disrespectful towards Belmont at all. But you look at their points per possession defensively, they're second in the league. They're 40th in the country defensively. They're only averaging 0.832 points per possession. But also, is there a little fool's gold in there? Because a lot of those non-conference games, look, their non-conference schedule was one of the worst in the country. They were right around the 350 mark. That's where we talk about with Southern. I'm interested to see tonight them defensively, and like their defensive numbers and metrics go, wow, they are extremely better and light years ahead from a year ago. I'm kind of interested to see if that carries over at all.
And the other part, I'm glad you brought that up, Luke, because the other part is Belmont does not want to foul. They know their best players, and Charnowski and Rogers, those guys are not going to foul. So you got to go test them and see if they're going to foul, which I think is perfect for the way Southern plays. I mean, Rollins Aligbe is very aggressive. Prince is very aggressive. Moreno is extremely big and aggressive. They enjoy. I mean, I don't know if they enjoy it, but they sure seem to enjoy contact. And so we'll see how that type of interior pressure puts on. Now we'll see if House can get to his mid-range spot that he likes. That to me is one of the bigger questions in this game is the other guys, the guards, can they get in that lane against the length? I think they can. Plus you throw in interior passing that sometimes our interior passing has gotten us in trouble, in the middle of our season. But, man, I think Southern has the ability to really test that two-point shot.
Man, these two games last year was a tale of two halves in both of the games. Belmont was thumping Southern at halftime in this building a year ago. Southern flipped it, couldn't have enough to get over the hump to win it. And then in Carbondale, man, at halftime, Salukis were high soaring over Belmont and coming at them in each and every way. Ali Deba continuing to cut them up. And then, man, it flipped in the second half. Carter Witt and Tyler Lumbley were big reasons why. But, man, these have been good games. There haven't been very many of them. Only 6 combined games in program history between these two. But they've been some entertaining games between the two teams, especially since they've joined the Valley.
Since we've talked about this game here a year ago a couple times, so far since we've been on the air, let's not forget Southern, that group didn't know how to play hard. And I'm not being critical. It's just a fact. It's not that they didn't want to play hard. It's just that team didn't know how to play at the level of this league. And in Belmont, especially that second half, coming out of Illinois State where there was a little explosion in the locker room by Rollins Aligbe as a freshman saying he's had enough, it was pretty obvious by halftime they truly did have enough. And from that point on, Southern played at a different intensity level throughout the rest of the season, as we remember. Now, at home, the snowball went the other direction. It went downhill, and then all of a sudden the curve went uphill, unfortunately badly for Southern at the Banterra Center.
Yes, just looked up the men's basketball availability reports, which are now public. Nick McClain is out. Wow. Aiden Noyes has been out for them as well. He only played first 2 games of the year and has missed since. So.
Do the broadcasters go, like, if you're out, I mean, will I know in advance, or do I just show up at the time and Jordan tells me that I'm on?
Just so you know, you've been warming up your play-by-play skills all year, so because you've been prepared ever since Jacksonville. That's our first.